Hello, everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And today we are continuing our draft profile series. Today we'll be talking about our second quarterback of the season so far, Kenny Pickett, quarterback out of Pitt.
Yeah. Second quarterback this year for us. First quarterback in a lot of Panther fans' hearts.
Yeah. He's an interesting one, but let's talk about him a little bit.
Yep. Kenny Pickett was a three-star recruit coming out of New Jersey and was ranked 33rd pro-style quarterback coming out of the 2017 class. He received offers from multiple D1 schools, including Matt Rule's Temple Owls, but opted to go to Pittsburg. At Pittsburg, he redshirted his first year while playing in 2 games, but started all the following 4 seasons. In his senior year, Pickett took a giant leap and led the Panthers to 11 wins and helped himself to winning the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, as well as finishing 3rd in the Heisman Trophy Award voting. So, big leap.
Huge leap, honestly. Very sort of reminiscent of a Joe Burrow-esque leap, right? He's 6'3", 220. Very small hands. He's got very, very small hands. I think someone said 8 1/4 inch, which is like kind of small.
Probably like my hand size.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think my hands are about that size. He does wear gloves as a quarterback, so Kenny 2 gloves maybe. If you're looking at his stats, like you said, 2021. 4,300 passing yards on almost 68% completion percentage, 42 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Now, his previous 2 years, 13 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
Both seasons.
61% completion percentage, 3,000 yards in 2019, 2,400 yards in 2020. And even 2018, his first year, not even 2,000 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So just a ridiculous jump in production from 2020 to 2021.
Yeah, it's insane. It's that leap that most players want. It's that leap that...
you like to see it. Yeah. And I don't think there was like a coaching change or anything. I think it was just he got better in the offseason.
He got really better in the offseason.
Way better in the offseason.
He kind of reminds me of a Zach Wilson type of leap, where he just kind of was putting around. I'd say putting around, but not having the greatest of years. And then last year just exploded. Now, Jordan Addison did have 100 receiving receptions and 1,500 yards. So he had that stud wide receiver, but the rest is just scattered.
Yeah.
So...
he's also got pretty good mobility. When you look at his rushing stats, like nothing jumps off the page. Right around 250 yards last year rushing, but he did have 5 rushing touchdowns. So he's not a running quarterback per se, but he can get around if he needs to.
I mean, he's good size.
And I think wasn't he the quarterback? Uh-oh. I lose my...
Yeah, I believe you lost. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hang on. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Cody's there. Wasn't he the quarterback that did the fake slide and then...
Yeah, that was him in the bowl game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 6'3",
he's
220.
Crafty. He's a crafty quarterback.
He's 6'3", 220. He's a good-sized quarterback minus his hands. So...
If only he had bigger hands.
I don't mind
Joe Burrow also was... a guy with small hands. So
yeah, I'm not threatened or scared of small hands as long as he knows how to keep 2 hands on the ball, unlike Kyle Allen, because Kyle Allen had small hands, but he would also be running around like this all the time with 1 hand.
Right.
But let's look at his pros starting off. He's very accurate. He's able to lead the receivers, get them in stride. Good at decision making, makes good calculated risk. A lot of his yards are not just quick dump offs. They're, going through progressions. Okay, now I'm hitting the guy deep because he's got 1-on-1 or, that type of risk that Teddy Bridgewater refused to do. He refused to do any calculated risk. I think that was the only.
If we can't throw some shade at Teddy Bridgewater at least once during the podcast, we haven't done our job.
The sad thing is, Teddy Bridgewater is probably the best quarterback this team has had in 4 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is he'll make that throw that maybe he's not 100% completed, but you gave your receiver a chance.
Yeah.
You mentioned this. He's mobile. He's not a running quarterback, but he can extend plays with his feet. Good mechanics, something you don't typically see out of, college guys coming out of college. He has pretty solid, good mechanics. And one thing I was reading is they said that his mechanics got a lot better last season. Mm-hmm. So they think that encouraged his leap.
Yeah, that's what I've heard is that he really put a lot of work in the offseason just to get better overall. And it obviously showed up on game day a lot.
And I put that in as pros. As he continued to grow, it looks like he put in the work to grow. 4-year starter at Pittsburgh. He has experience. ACC is a Power 5 conference. It's not the SEC, but it's still going against solid, good competition. And he's a good leader. From everything I read, he's a fiery, competitive leader. And I love that because I feel like that's something this team has had with Cam Newton. But since Cam Newton and Thomas Davis left, I don't think this team has that on either side of the ball right now.
Yeah. Well, he's also going to be almost 20. Well, he'll be 24 years old. Excuse me. He'll be 24 years old when he gets drafted. So a little bit of an older draft pick. I mean, he might be as old as Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Sam Darnold is either 24 now or maybe 25.
I think he's 25. I think 24 he was 24 last year. But either way,
check real quick.
Sam
Darnold is still 24. Actually, Kenny Pickett's birthday is June 6th, 1998. Sam Darnold, June 5th, 1997. So he is almost exactly 1 year younger than Sam Darnold. That's a little bit of trivia for you. All right, so let's look at some cons. He's got good arm strength, but not elite. Now, I think it's better than good. It's just not Josh Allen, right?
It's not Malik
Willis. But it's
certainly
good enough, right? Yeah. It's not Malik Willis. Yeah. He doesn't have a cannon, but he's got a really good arm.
That's why I say good arm strength. He's not average. It's good. It's better than average, good, but it's also not the top tier where, Josh Allen, the Malik Willis, the
and that was
rookie Cam Newton.
Yeah. Well, one of the cons I'd seen was that he has arm arrogance, which basically he thinks his arm is a little better than it is. Even though his arm is very good, it's just not as good as he thinks it is. Another one is, and this is something we see in almost all of these college quarterbacks, is he needs to work on his progressions. Not bad, but not where it needs to be for an NFL quarterback. Yeah. But again, this is scheme. These college quarterbacks, they're running these spread offenses all the time. And that sometimes that works in the NFL too. So it'll be interesting to see if he is drafted, wherever he's drafted, if they can adapt. Whatever team drafts him can adapt to him. Only one great season at Pittsburgh. But again, we just saw this with Joe Burrow. Only one great season. And he comes in and he lights the NFL on fire. So that is a con, but it's not insurmountable. And then we kind of talked about his hands. His hand size is small.
Hello.
Again, we're not saying that.
Hello.
Yeah, we're not saying that he's got Trump hands or anything. He's probably got fine sized hands, but in the NFL, you like your quarterback's hands to be at least 9 inches long, and his are shorter than that. They're smaller than that. So,
yeah. And if we do draft Kenny Pickett, I'm saying right now, I am getting little tiny hands to go for my fingers. And
yay! Like that Saturday Night Live skit with Kristen Wiig where she's got the little tiny hands.
Yeah.
What do you think about Kenny Pickett?
I really like him.
Yeah.
I know how you kind of fell in love with Zach Wilson last year. I feel very similar to that, where I like him a lot. I think he's a lot more polished than Malik Willis. I think he could come into this type of situation and help a team out. He's also I think he's a lower or a higher floor. I also think he has that ability to become a Justin Herbert type, if that makes any sense, where he's not the best at anything, but he's going to be really good at getting the ball out. He's going to be really good at making plays. You know, maybe he's not Joe Burrow. He's not going to lead this team to the Super Bowl his second year, but I think he could be a guy that could be a franchise guy that could turn this team around. Does that make sense?
Some of the comparisons I saw to him, one comparison I saw to him was Joe Burrow, which I think is a little lazy.
Yeah.
But one I saw was Derek Carr, excuse me.
That's a good one.
Which, yeah, I think I agree with that. Because I feel like Derek Carr in the right circumstance could take a team deep into the playoffs. So I like Kenny Pickett. Again, I feel like you sort of said, I think he's, of all the quarterbacks that we'll talk about that could go in the first round, I think he's the one who is most ready to play now, but I still don't think he's ready to play now. I think he would benefit from sitting a year, just like all these guys would.
Oh, yeah. But
if you're drafting a guy with the intent of playing them this year, then I think he's the one.
I think if you draft a quarterback for this Panther team, they have to start. Malik Willis included. You're going to have to start. I think Sam Darnold is not good enough to keep a rookie quarterback on the bench.
Well, that you're probably right about.
So who are you going to throw out there? PJ Walker? I mean, I hate saying it like that, but that's where you're sitting at with this franchise.
Yeah. And again, like I said, I think all of these guys would benefit from a year. I don't think they're ready to play now, but you're right when it comes to if they're drafted on this team and no other quarterback moves have been made and Sam Darnold, PJ Walker are the other guys on the team, then yeah, probably any of these guys would start over those players.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go through our questions here as we normally do. Does this player fit in the current roster? Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a need.
Desperate need.
He's one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. Will this player fall to the Panthers at 6? I would say yes. I think he will be available at 6. I've seen some mocks with him in the 20s.
Yeah. It's with any of these.
Child screaming.
A little bit. It's okay. I'm used to it.
Yeah, he's not being mistreated. He's downstairs with my dad. He's he just woke up from his nap. He's okay.
I agree. And with all these quarterbacks, it's really pick your poison / when do you want to take them? Because like you said, you could see him being drafted in 15-20 range in some mocks. Some teams like that, these quarterbacks, some don't. So you had to pick your favorite best one and judge when to pick them.
You're seeing different quarterbacks as the first one taken off the board, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you see Willis, sometimes you see Pickett. I even saw the North Carolina quarterback going first
Sam Howell
off the board. Howell, yeah. So I think he's not the 6th overall pick in terms of that's where he should be drafted. I think he should more be drafted in the late teens, 20s, but I think he will go in the top 10.
So he's not the 6th best player coming out of this draft, but
right. But he will go probably
top
in
10.
That range.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Because he's a quarterback and teams will fall in love with him when he's out there in his shorts, throwing to unguarded
such a weird
receivers.
comment.
I'm just saying they'll fall in love with him. They like what they see when he's in his shorts. That's all I'm saying. Would you be excited to draft this player?
Yes, because I hate Sam Darnold and I like Kenny Pickett. I think he has a very bright future as quarterback in this league. but I don't know if he'll be the superstar. He could just be a very good quarterback, a good quarterback in this league.
A la Derek Carr.
Yeah, a Derek Carr that if you have better coaching, you have some guys around him that you could go to the Super Bowl. You could make that run. I think Derek Carr is that type of player, but you need the other things around him. So,
right. All right, so we've got our MeowMix Big Board where we look at all the draft all the players that we have profiled so far. Currently, our draft board is number 1, Evan Neal, offensive tackle out of Alabama. Number 2, Tyler Lindenbaum, center out of Iowa. And Malik Willis, the first quarterback we talked about, is sitting at number 3. So, Jerry, does Kenny Pickett knock off Evan Neal as your number 1 player on the board?
Absolutely not.
What about Lindenbaum at number 2?
This is where I think Linderbaum's a better player. But I would put Kenny Pickett number 2 on our MeowMix Panthers big board because I like him being drafted at 6 more than I would like Linderbaum. Just because the desperate need at quarterback to get somebody competent back there is desperation. And I also think that he could be a very, very good Pro Bowl quarterback in the future, but he's not there right now. If that makes sense.
I think I would put him at 3. I would put him above Willis. I think I would rather have both of the offensive linemen. I think Neal and Linderbaum are both, I'm not going to say can't miss prospects at those positions, but I think they have that, superstar potential, if you could call an offensive lineman a superstar. I think they have the ability to be, top 2 or 3 in their positions in the league in a couple of years. I don't know that Kenny Pickett is that.
I don't either.
Right.
But I guess I value the quarterback position so much higher than the center. I agree. I agree. I do too. I just don't think that Kenny Pickett, he's not a can't miss guy, right? I think not. He does have, there is bust potential with him. And I don't think there's bust potential with Evan Neal or Linderbaum. I think there's bust potential with all these quarterbacks, by the way. Oh, yeah, we'll absolutely.
And I don't think that's not a hot take or anything. So for me, he would be 3.
We always do this. One year we're going to come up with a reason to just do separate big boards. Because I have him too. I'll put him on the big board. I'll do 3. I'll give you that, but I would, if I'll put it this way, I would be happier if the Panthers picked Kenny Pickett at 6 over Linderbaum. Just because I
would be upset if they I don't think I'd be upset if they took Kenny Pickett at 6, but I'd be much happier if they took Kenny Pickett at 15. And also had a second and a third round pick coming along behind it.
Oh, that is definitely what we would dream.
Yeah, that's sort of how I'm thinking about my big board is, because we're going to talk about some guys that aren't going to be top 10 picks. So my big board is sort of like at 6, who do I want? And then after 6, where do I think these guys rank?
Now, I get what you're thinking. My thought is, though, I would still think I would want Pickett more at 6 than I would Linderbaum, just because of the simple fact that I feel like you can go out and get a center that's average, as long as you don't overspend a Pat Elflein center type of guy.
Yeah, but I think Linderbaum is, number 1, he's going to be much better than average. And number 2, he could be your center for the next 10, 15 years. And again, Kenny Pickett could be your quarterback for the next 10 and 15 years. Obviously, if Kenny Pickett works out at the high end and Linderbaum works out at the high end, you'd much rather have Kenny Pickett.
Yes.
Obviously. But I think it's more likely that Linderbaum finishes at the high end than Kenny Pickett does.
Linderbaum has a lot higher floor as a pro than Kenny Pickett.
Right.
So I see what you're saying. I'm not arguing it. It's just I know,
but we're I know, and we only have 4 players on our big board, so it's not a huge difference. But that's just sort of the way I'm thinking about it. Is I don't think Kenny Pickett should be drafted at 6. Now, if he is, I will talk myself into it and love it.
With our little hands.
Yeah. I mean, my desktop picture will be a picture of Kenny Pickett in his shorts. That's all I'm saying. With his tiny hands. What's bigger on Kenny Pickett, his hands or... I'm just kidding.
His helmet. What type of show are you trying to run?
You can see the outline of his helmet in his shorts. All right, let's...
All right. Someone needs to go to bed or stop drinking during the day.
Nobody's listening now, Jerry. Only Club 37 is listening.
All right. Any last thoughts on Kenny Pickett?
I don't think so.
All right. We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show. Next episode, we'll be looking at Ikem Ekwonu, offensive tackle out of North Carolina State.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Spoiler alert, he's probably going to be above Kenny Pickett in my draft rankings as well.
Oh, yeah.
Until next time, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.